How hard is it to avoid thirst trapping on social media?
That's an insane question. That just presumes hotness, you fuck. How hard is that for you to just not drive women insane? I don't know.
I felt like it was appropriate with the faces that we were making just now.
Absolutely, but then it went to a whole other level. Thirst trapping. Yeah, no, I remember releasing that yoga video on my Richard
Oh,
Grannon
good lord.
philosophy channel, and I got a message from Pierre straight away, like, "Oh, bro, is this a thirst trap, bro?" So I just wanted to show people how to stretch.
And was it?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Did it work?
But I haven't been back to see how much thirst has been collected in the trees around that video. How much moisture has been collected in the cobwebs.
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, what else is social media made for?
It needs to either outrage or arouse, or else it's pointless. And you have 3 seconds to create outrage or arousal, or else you are redundant. You are a floppy penis.
Yeah. I just recorded like a 30-minute, fairly unedited video of just like kind of bringing the synopsis of what's happened on my end for my main channel.
Oh,
Uh,
you're gonna open up to people and let them know where you're up to personally and stuff.
Yeah, just to bring some closure to the fucking thing. It's mostly for me because I'm like, it's just been the channel's just been floating around, and I'm like, okay, well, this is what happened. Y'all betrayed me. Social media is only made for arousal and indignation, and I don't want to provide that anymore, pretty much.
So when you say closure, I've been in therapy this week, 3 sessions this week. What I'm hearing is that you're closing a door. Do you mean closure? Are you closing a door?
Uh, I don't know. I don't even know if it's full on closure,
Right.
just because I don't know what to do with the main channel at all. But I feel like maybe this is perhaps a step in finding out, you know.
Okay. Yeah, because the main channel, well, we've gone back and forth on this. It's got a social activism
Yeah,
theme
yeah,
to it, right?
yeah.
And you're thoroughly poisoned by social activism.
Never again, man. Never again. I'm not saving nobody. I'm not gonna try to save nobody no more, man. Shit.
Interesting. Back to my therapy session. Stop trying to save people.
Yeah, so about closure, what have you learned about it in your therapy sessions?
Well, we actually haven't really got that close to the closure issue there. Obviously, if you are still intent on rescuing somebody, there can never be closure because you're still engaged in like an infantile fantasy,
Hmm.
um,
Hmm. Hmm.
where there can never be the opportunity to just close the chapter and let it go because, well, a rescue fantasy is that it's a fantasy. Nobody ever rescues anybody. Not
Ah,
really.
I see. I see.
Not really. Unless the
Yeah.
person is literally in a burning building and you're an actual firefighter.
Yes. Unless it's actual physically literal. I
Yeah.
guess now that I'm thinking about it, it's more of closure for I'm almost like closing the spell, the projection of the thing maybe that I'm responsible for casting.
Yeah.
And I think that the main channel, it's still fresh in some people's mind that I'm still this particular way.
Yeah.
So this video is kind of a way to just kind of end the spell and kind of
Right.
say, hey, this is not me anymore. Like this
Yeah.
whole thing happened and now I'm this person to kind of like how we were talking about if you project a certain avatar out into the world and other people see it to make it conscious, that avatar lives its own life, its entity.
Yeah.
And if you just let it float, a part of your soul or identity is living through that projection. So I guess this is a way for me to like, there's no more of that, guys. The viewfinder's closed.
Very, very, very Egyptian. Very Egyptian because that's how they would have seen it as well as your the Egyptians didn't think that your eyes took in light. They saw your eyes as projecting light. And
Whoa.
when you see the eye of Horus, that's not that's actually there to put energy out into the world. And they would say that when you look at something and you behold it, you are imbuing it with a power, you're imbuing it with an energy. And that which is related to that is affected by that energy. So there was an awful lot of the stress that we have in Christianity around idols is probably Egyptian. It's probably an Egyptian issue because they were much more deeply involved in the icons that they had and how to worship them and imbuing it with power. And then, you know, should you look at that thing and, you know, where should it be pointed to? Should it be to the north, the east, the south, you know, and all of this. So no, it makes sense. And the closure thing, I think always is kind of self-centered. There's no closure with the other. It's you. It's your closure with you, whether it's a relationship or a project. So that makes sense to me that you would want to do that. You're letting them know, but by letting them know, you're symbolically letting yourself know that this is done.
I guess, I mean, we could bring this up about the idea of individuation, which you've made a lot of videos on.
Right.
It's so, for example, like when you are, you know, breaking away from the binds of your parents, right? Your parents obviously have a vision of you because they raised you from a little shitty toddler with snot hanging out of your nose and whatever. And that's how they'll pretty much always view you until that moment where you close the spell, right?
Yeah.
So some people close the spell traditionally at 18. Now it's like never. No one ever closes the spell now. Maybe in your mid 30s, perhaps, is when it happens.
Well, there's no will to close the spell on childhood, and there's no reward for it. I would say, like, I'm very, very critical of the culture we live in now and the different generations. I'm always critical of them, but on this one issue, I do have a defense, which is why should Gen Z and millennials grow up when there's no fucking reward for it? Everything is geared towards staying young. So yeah, you would never, and that's an interesting way of looking at it, because if we're talking with the language of spells and magic, it kind of reinforces how dangerous it can be. Like, you're still in that bind of a love bind, a love spell of being beheld as a child. That's really hard to, that's really quite smothering.
And your unconscious knows that. So your unconscious reacts and projects back to the world how you're being projected, even if you don't know it or not. So like, back to the parent and child relationship, if your parents treat you like you are nothing bumbling idiot to the point that where you're 27, you're still going to act like that. If they don't treat you like a responsible adult that can make your own decisions, you'll never act like that. You know? So yeah, like at a point, you have to break the spell away from the smother mother or the tyrannical dad to be your own person. Otherwise, the spell continues and you'll continuously act that way.
Yeah, people do tend to act the way they're treated, don't they? And we all do. That's a great way of manipulating somebody, manipulating either for good or bad. Manipulating somebody unconsciously is you treat them the way you want them to act. This came up a lot in therapy. There's Eric Byrne's transactional analysis, which grew out of psychoanalytic theory, and he had this book, this concept that games people play, and a lot of this is like unconsciously taking on roles, almost like an actor takes on a role or an avatar or an archetype, because the other person invites you to, but their unconscious invites your unconscious to do it. So you never know, you never see it. You just say, wow, I'm a fucking idiot around that person, or wow, I'm much calmer when I'm with this person, I make better decisions. But there's an unconscious invitation there for you to adopt a different part of yourself, a different ego state. Apparently, that's what it's called.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in a room and everyone thinks you're self-centered and arrogant, your unconscious will just be like, okay, whatever, you think I'm arrogant. So in a way of you rejecting it, arrogant behaviors come out because you're rejecting them, and they think the rejection is arrogance, but it's actually like, fuck you. But then there's like that miscommunication in a conscious mind, but the unconscious understands completely what's happening.
100%. So you would, and this can be the enormous frustration of narcissistic abuse, is unconsciously you know what's happening, but consciously you can't state it. because
Mm,
it's at the pre-conscious level. In the language of narcissistic abuse, that's projective identification. If I treat you like you're an evil, sadistic human trafficker, and you hang around with me long enough, and I won't stop treating you like that, I will certainly get some hostility and aggression from you eventually, because I'm treating you like that anyway.
yeah.
You won't
Yeah.
actually become a human trafficker, but you will get you'll get pissed off and you will get quite aggressive.
Of course. And it's like in smaller levels, like a teacher talks to a student as if they're dumb. What are they going to do? They're going to misspell shit. They're going to like accidentally knock over a chair. They're going to be all under the pressure of them of knowing that the teacher thinks they're dumb. So they're already like frazzled and they're going to hit stuff over and they're not going to think correctly. So it's all the same thing.
I've seen parents do that with their children, where they hover over them, waiting for things to go wrong. So their unconscious is inviting their child's unconscious for things to go wrong. And it can drive a child completely bonkers and make them totally incompetent. It can make them totally fucking incompetent. It's a form of, almost a form of hypnosis. But that's what I used to do in the schools, was that if they gave me a classroom full of naughty kids, I'd be like, oh, I wouldn't tell the teachers because I wanted to make my money and build my reputation. But my trick was always treat the kids the way you want them to act. So do I want a room full of naughty little bad youths, you know, from the streets of London? Not really, because I can't beat them. There's more of them than me, and they have so many filters and layers that I have no chance. But if I treat them like responsible young adults, it slips right through the guard. It slips right through the fucking guard. And it's an unconscious response. They start behaving in a more mature way. But I have to go first. I have to show them trust. I have to give them responsibilities. I have to treat them as though not just that they're capable, but that they're actually caring. And lo and behold, little 15-year-old, 16-year-old mind starts thinking, oh, I must be responsible and caring. So I'll be responsible and caring. Why? Because the adult treated me like I was responsible.
Right. Right. I mean, how funny is it that it's so intuitive,
Yeah.
but for some reason we're just like, no, that's not how it's supposed to be. I'm just going to tell them. I went to the park the other day. It's been fairly amazing weather, except
Yeah.
today, of course, because that's Prague.
Yeah.
But in the middle of the park, I swear to God, I'm just chilling there, right? And then mom with a daughter and a son. So at first, apparently the mom goes, "Hey, be careful how you're playing with your younger brother. He's a lot smaller than you can hurt him."
Mm.
10 minutes later, the little boy takes a juice box and just squirts all the apple juice out. Just not at anybody, just
Yeah. Yeah.
the mom bolts like the Flash,
Yeah.
picks him, flips him upside down, and
Yeah.
just starts spanking him in the middle of the park. Just and then she just like basically shoves him on the ground and just starts fucking hammering. Like, and I was like, oh shit. And then the kid starts crying and shit. And then now she's like holding him afterwards. And then the daughter's just kind of watching, like, what the fuck? And then like 5 minutes later, the kid goes around, tries to play again. He takes
Yeah.
a stick and he
Yeah.
goes up to the mom and then pretends to shoot her.
How Freudian. There it is. That's just everything in that small scenario.
I mean, it was amazing. It was like a whole show, a whole psychoanalytic narrative popping up in front of me. I mean, it just went on, and then there was more things that happened. But I was just
Yeah.
watching this whole thing. I was like, oh, it starts that early and that quick. Like I saw this whole kid's like adulthood just
Yeah.
transpire from this fucking 15 minutes.
Yeah. Don't do that. You might get hurt. Why do you say that? Because I want to protect him. Okay, why are you beating him? You're an adult. Why are you striking this small entity with your fucking adult hands? Why are you fucking doing that? And then when he cries, which of course he will, why are you comforting him? If you hate him, which if you're beating somebody, you do that with somebody you detest, don't fucking comfort him. Just leave him to be beaten. Just throw him on the floor. But you know, it's there. And then this kid will grow up with like cycling emotional flashbacks, completely confused and completely with like attachment disorders and everything else, because he's received all these weird inconsistent messages. She probably got the same messages from her mom or her father as well.
Totally. And then perhaps end up actually picking up a real rifle and doing whatever the fuck with that, but
Yeah.
in a symbolic way, that's how it plays out.
Right. Yeah, intergenerational trauma is real. The struggle is real, but it's funny, in an age where we are much more psychologically literate, I wonder if that woman even knows what she did. Like, if you showed her a video back and was like, did you know that you said don't hurt him because I don't want him hurt, and then he did a tiny thing and you hurt him?
I don't think so, man. I mean,
I hope nobody hurts my child because that's my fucking privilege.
Jesus Christ, yeah, that was rough to watch. I had no idea what to do. I mean, like, you can't do anything anyways, but like just to see it play out was like,
Yeah,
whoa.
yeah, because even you can't really intervene unless she's doing something truly psychotic, like she's punching the child in the face, but she just is spanking him on the ass. What are the police aren't gonna? The police are gonna be like, "Why did you call us? Leave us alone." And then you'll be like, "No, she did it. She turned him upside down, and like she really frightened him." So the police aren't gonna do anything about that. Nothing. That's the way it
Yeah,
is.
yeah. Yeah, but yeah, back to the whole projection thing. I really did feel the energy of the mom. I felt her energy, and she was like really bad vibes. But like, I feel like from her perspective, she just was constantly waiting for the kids to constantly fuck up. And of
Right.
course, the kid's gonna fuck up because first of all, that's what kids do. They don't
Yeah.
know any better. And then you're always there waiting. You're sending unconscious energy that they will, so they will.
Yes. Yes, you're willing them to do it in a sense. Like, go ahead and show me how fucking stupid you are. There we go. There it is. Yeah, I knew that was. But that's actually wish fulfillment. The child's doing unconsciously is serving the parent. They're serving the needs. Oh, okay, you want me to act like an idiot? Here you go. This is what you were
Yeah.
waiting for, mummy. Here's my gift for you.
Yeah. You know, we talk about this a lot, and especially with having like an online platform and stuff, this projection shit is a huge part of the recipe or whatever, the part of the job.
Yeah.
And because of this video that I just made explaining the whole situation and what we've both been going through, to put it lightly,
Yeah.
I was really thinking about why is it felt at such an intensity? Some stranger's perception of you. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like it's not about afraid of judgment. It's more of like they are projecting an idea, an archetype, an image that
Mm.
has no resemblance to you. And as much as you can try to blockade that,
Mm.
what is happening unconsciously there in general to affect anybody that much?
You mean when people get upset when other people that they don't know say shitty things to them online?
It's not even just saying shitty things, but having the wrong projection of you. You know what I mean?
Part of that, and I'm spitballing, would be I think Gabor Mate. I don't know if it's his, but it's the first time I heard the hypothesis that the Hungarian psychologist Gabor Mate said that we're in an abusive relationship with our phones, and that we are over attached to the phones. Abusive because if you are using social media and you're putting out content and you are in the comments, you don't know when you open that phone whether you're going to get a nice feeling or a bad
Mm,
feeling. In
mm,
the same way that when the drunk abusive mother or drunk abusive father comes home and the front door closes, you don't know whether you're going to get the nice happy version of them or the one that hits you.
Ooh,
So
okay, okay,
yeah, so
okay.
there's actually, he said we're attached to our phones in an abusive cycle, and when you flip open the phone, you'll get that surge of adrenaline. So there's that, and there's the fact that we talk about like the internet, social media, and smartphones interchangeably, but if you divided one for, let's say that's the evil trinity, if you divided one part of that, it wouldn't function like this.
Hmm,
If you remember the internet, what was before smartphones in
mm,
like the late 90s, it was, you wanted to interact online, you interacted on forums,
yeah,
and then you talked about sci-fi novels or magic or martial arts,
yeah.
and it just didn't have the flex, it didn't have the narcissistic element. It was about, we were talking about subjects, we were talking about content. Then it became about the user. Once the smartphone got into the pocket and
Ah,
the social media platforms came in, they realized the best monetization is to appeal to the greatest human weakness, which is the ego and narcissism. So that's why
yeah.
it gets nasty. If it was a simpler, there's nothing intrinsically fucking wrong with the internet or social media or smartphones. It's this thing combined, and it makes it quite nasty. It makes it quite volatile.
Yeah, I remember there was a time when it was weird to post a real picture of you online. Do you remember
Oh,
that? Like,
it was verboten. Like you couldn't
yeah,
do
you
that. That
don't post what your real name is. Don't post your actual face. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Well, I can't imagine what would have happened back in my day if I saw somebody taking a picture of their own face.
Yeah,
That
right.
was just, you just couldn't do that. You just, especially not openly in public with a selfie stick or something, because you would be ashamed to do that. You'd be like saying, Look at me, I'm a self-obsessed." You just couldn't do that. So like, and then it just changes. Like everything becomes hyper normalized. It creeps, it moves. I'm not saying taking selfies is bad. My point is that there are things we do now as normal that just 20 years ago when I was 23, absolutely it wasn't. And you're absolutely right. You couldn't put your name on, or we thought you couldn't put your name online, no pictures of yourself. You wouldn't dream of it because you didn't know what would happen.
This is like the most rapidly mutating parasite
Yeah.
bacteria that we have ever seen, man. Like, we ever seen anything that changes human behavior so drastically and visually in a short amount of time so quickly? Amazing.
It is amazing. And I think you've got to credit the artificial intelligence that's there. I know artificial intelligence is a full spectrum, and there's different points on that spectrum. But even if it's as simple as algorithms that learn, some people will say that's not real artificial intelligence. Okay, something like artificial intelligence is doing it, and it's learning with a purpose, and the purpose is to keep you online and keep you making content. Even if it's just you posting on our video now in the comments, you're making content. You work for YouTube right now. If you're
Mm.
posting under this video, if you post in the comments after the video goes live, you're making content. The whole system is there to draw people in and not force them, but certainly coerce them into making content. And that's, if you want to bully somebody into or provoke, manipulate, you've got to push a lot of buttons to condition people to do that unconsciously.
Yeah. So two things. One of them is what you were saying about what Gen Z. Why would they even bother growing up if they're not rewarded? And the
Yeah.
second is Zuckerberg's new Ray-Ban smart glasses.
No. What? What? What?
Okay,
What?
so I'll start off with the smart glasses, then we'll go in the other thing. This is freaky. And as somebody that loves technology and I live stream myself, I'm cutting down, but I still live stream a lot. Uh, Zuckerberg came out with sunglasses that literally just basically look like this, like look normal sunglasses. They look exactly like Ray-Bans,
Yeah.
like legitimate sunglasses. And then there's a little camera here
Mm.
for augmented reality. And they say the privacy is this switch here that turns off the microphone and the camera. And when it's on, there's a little light here that tells you. And I'm telling you, the light is like a dot. Like you can put a Sharpie on it. Like that's the privacy restraint. It's just that little light, you know. Anyways, yeah, that's
How
crazy.
how how long do you think it'll be from the release of that until the first person gets arrested for committing a crime because they forgot they left their fucking Facebook glasses on?
Oh my Jesus Christ, right?
Even just
Oh
driving, even
yeah.
just motoring offences or anything, people will get nicked for
There,
wearing
I
the
mean,
glasses.
there has to be something like this in a Black Mirror episode or something. And Google Glass tried it, and why it failed is because they looked super dorky, but they
Right?
should look super dorky so people fucking know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now it's like kind of okay because they look like regular glasses. But it's like, bruh, that's the problem. They should the thing is like I'm kind of defending myself here because I
Yeah.
go around with a live stream, but they can see it. I look like a fucking clown holding a giant stick recording my face. And
Yeah.
that
There's
at
no
least,
doubt. There's no doubt about
yes.
what you're doing.
So people fucking know. And it also allows not everybody to do it because it takes a bit of let's just say, a lack of shame to like go about doing that. Right. So not everybody can surveil everyone, and everyone knows that one person is. But if it's just fucking glasses, man, it's oh my god. Even I reject that.
Yes, it's a lot. What's the monetization model here? I enjoy augmented reality and receive advertising straight into my brain.
Probably.
Okay, sounds awesome.
Yeah, and we can just data map the entire your whole life even further. You
Well,
know.
they're probably watching like where your eyes go, and then they'll be able to tell all kinds of creepy things about you.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, he literally, Zuckerberg says in his lizard robot fashion, he literally says, as now that smartphones are becoming less central to our lives, we have developed sunglasses to basically follow you 24/7.
fuck me. Well, it was always going to happen, and then the next
Yeah.
thing will be is it's embedded into the flesh, right?
Yes, yes. And there's no stopping it. People are going to do it. It's going to become normalized. Everyone's going to have these fucking glasses at a certain point. Like, I mean, what are you going to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. That's I actually hadn't. Well, I haven't been watching the news, so I'm not surprised that I don't know about it. But yeah, I had no idea that we were at that level. As you said so quickly. I mean, do you remember the internet of 2010? You remember the good old fucking days? Do you remember MySpace?
I can't watch. I mean, I can't wait to watch The Matrix Resurrections in Christmas. I don't know if they'll fuck it up, but I'm still super excited for the damn thing because it's about now.
It should be. I think it will be a perfectly serviceable film. I expect it to be an enjoyable cheeseburger of a movie. It's
Yeah.
not gonna. You can't recapture the Matrix. Do you know the Matrix was made in '99?
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? I saw.
Crazy as fuck.
I saw a pirate copy of that. It was so pirated that somebody had taken it from the studio, and they hadn't actually put the music on all of the scenes yet, which was fucking weird.
Really?
Yeah, I think ages ago. I told you though. So in the scene where he goes into a disco, he's led into a nightclub.
Yeah. Yeah.
What you could hear was no dance music, but you could hear the sound of the extras, their sneakers squeaking on the floor.
Oh yeah. 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 Yeah.
You could hear that, and I was like, "Oh!" It's the first time I realized that when you shoot a film, you don't have music on. Everybody
Right.
just fucking is just
Right.
dancing. And then
Yeah.
it's just.
There's like these YouTube memes, maybe some TikToks of just like purposely edited versions where they cut out the music and put sneaker scraping as well. So they do it with like a bunch of
They're
movies.
great. Yeah, they're
It's
really
super
good.
funny.
Really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when the Matrix originally dropped, it was so far ahead of its time. It was amazing. It was like mind-bendingly good stuff, and it's actually not dated badly either. If you watch it now, it's still pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not expecting.
I mean,
That.
considering that thing came out before a smartphone was even a concept. I mean, dude, we're talking digitally right now. Like that's
Yeah.
crazy. Oh, our
Yeah.
little pixelated versions of ourselves are communicating in real time.
We're in somebody's phone.
Like
Rub me against your face.
The multiple, like hundreds of people's phones. Like what the fuck? Like, you know,
Rub
it makes
us
no sense.
both against your nipples.
Anyways, so I was going to go back to
still trying to get cancelled.
I might as well.
Fuck it.
Yeah, what do I got to lose? Anyways, so you're saying Gen Z, what's the incentive to grow up?
Right.
And I'm kind of like seeing the lack of benefits of growing up. I have no choice but to spiritually, internally. So I am. But externally, there's no reward. There's nothing externally.
Well, it's cultural, it's economic. Like, I don't know. I don't want to sound like that fucking old guy, but like when my grandparents were growing up, the benefit of growing up was you could buy a house and then you could get married and you could have a family and you would be an upstanding member of the community and there was just reward. We humans have eroded every single fucking advantageous element of that, and we won't stop. We're still doing it. We're still just sandpapering away. Because is there any pleasure left in this? No. Sandpaper it away. No.
Because in the most literal sense, to make a living, to actually make, I guess it's not physical money anymore, but to make money.
Yeah.
In specifically my situation, but I know a lot of other people too.
Yeah.
I have to act infantilely. I have to act adolescently I
Yeah.
have to be vulnerable and be erratic with my emotions so I can express it. I have to like depict myself in a certain physically whatever the fuck way. I have to like kind of cater to this weird adolescent mind, not only for just teenagers. No, 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 the everyone. And it's like
Yeah.
no matter what niche, no matter what, subgenre that you watch on YouTube, a good majority of them are interacted with in a very similar way, where it doesn't reward somebody to speak very maturely in a way that is perhaps a bit more academically standard and whatever. No, you got to be like, hey, everybody, it's like
Yeah.
it pushes you to be
Yeah.
more infantile, to make your money, to have a following, to be applauded for.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, and you could argue possibly that trickles down. It's everywhere. I mean, again, back to the economics of the situation. What does it cost you to buy a house from scratch now?
Yeah.
What kind of jobs would you need to do that? Will you have a job for life? My grandfather became, after the war, was like in a managerial position as a chemical engineer at Lever Brothers in Port Sunlight. That was it. That's who he was. That was his,
Mm,
and he was very well financially taken care of.
mm.
They weren't wealthy, but they were doing just fine. They were comfortable. With you not, what everything is gigs. It's a gig economy. It's
Mm.
pick up this contract, do it. They may bin you after 18 months. So you're a slut. You're forced to be promiscuous. You're constantly on the employment equivalent of Tinder. I don't know,
Yes. Yes.
LinkedIn or whatever,
Oh,
being
that's a
like,
great idea. Yeah, I mean,
who's next? Who's next? Because these guys, I'm not showing these fuckers loyalty. They're not showing me any fucking loyalty. If this project tanks or someone better and cheaper comes along, I'm gone. So fuck you. I'm not giving you my heart and soul. I'll keep looking.
right, right. I mean, even the way you depict content, you have to get people's attention. And it's the way you get people's attention is like the equivalent to some provocative bathroom graffiti, you know? Like you have to write something kind of slightly scandalous that
Yeah.
gets right under your butt, Like it's really hard to in a metaphorical sense to grow up to be a fully fledged adult on this space here and get any sort of incentive and a reward from it.
Well, there's the immaturity, and then there's the personality disorder. So it encourages emotional immaturity, fine, but I would go so far as to say it encourages almost like a personality disordered style of behavior.
Yeah.
You'll do better if you're more narcissistic, psychopathic, histrionic, bipolar, schizophrenic, schizoid. You will do better if you're more mentally ill. So you have to engage continuously and react. For just one example, it's all reaction seeking behavior.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not
Yes. Yes.
sane. That's not healthy. To
Yes.
manipulate people into looking at you it's like the fucking definition of histrionic personality
Right.
disorder at the very least. So reaction seeking behavior and reaction seeking communication can never really be truly sincere.
Yes. And that is the furthest thing from a mature adult behavior. But it's so hard to escape,
Yeah.
especially if you're in this world. People, I mean, even just writing a comment, people
Mm.
do it so it can be seen most of the time. When they want to express their thoughts, and hopefully their thoughts trigger a fucking reaction.
All the time. All the
Yeah.
time. People are, if we're being honest, people are only posting comments to be seen.
Yeah.
Only. They're not. Maybe every once in a blue moon, somebody's like genuinely moved to just say how much I friggin' loved your friggin' video. But come on, it's all an exercise in narcissism. It's all an exercise in attention control and controlling where we mentioned being beheld before in the context of Egyptian religion. We're all trying to be beheld. We're all
Hmm.
trying to have as many people behold
Mhm.
us, which would mean that we're all trying to be mini gods and goddesses effectively.
Mhm. Right. I mean, but what other survival mechanism is there? It seems like the most utilitarian practical route in this current postmodern digital society. You have to try to do it, otherwise you're what, going through gig economies and a fucking janitorial Tinder.
Janitorial team. Fuck. Custodial grinder.
Oh my god.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, well, like, so then people come along and they say, oh, the culture's become very promiscuous. People are sexually promiscuous. It's like, what the fuck do you expect? You're forcing them into promiscuity of every fucking of every type. Who's loyal?
Yeah.
Who's loyal? Who's faithful? What's the reward for your loyalty and your faithfulness? You're a clown if you're loyal and faithful.
Yeah.
You're used and discarded if you're loyal and faithful. My God.
Yeah.
Sorry, I nearly went into an emotional flashback there.
Yeah, me too. Talking about, we don't have to go into disloyalty, but I was thinking about the same concept, but in the more of a social media fucking realm.
Yeah, but it's like, it's hard to argue with, right? I mean, I might not be 100% on the money, but it's got legs. It's got legs.
Dude, like, I feel so stupid because it's like, of course social media is not loyal, but a part of me was like, when they say that they'll always be there and watch your stuff and they love what you say, and then I cut my hair and then bye. You know, it's like,
I'll always be there until you change your shade of eyeliner, Pierre. Fuck you.
And I'm like surprised. Like, what the fuck? Like, why am I expecting some loyalty from them? Why am I surprised when people unfollow me because I post boxing videos? Of course it's not loyal. The whole fucking format was not about loyalty. Anyways, it's all cheap junk food that you shit out in 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm. And if you have people, a generation, a culture, a population conditioned to think that that is what a relationship with reality is, you really are beyond fucked. You're beyond Dostoevsky and Nietzsche's projections. Oh, we've damaged our relationship with truth. We're far beyond that now. We're way past damaging our relationship with truth. Nobody gives a fuck about truth. Nobody gives a single solitary fuck. You have weirdos who watch this. You have weirdos, me and you. You have people who are into philosophy. A tiny minority of people still see some value in telling the truth and being honest. Everybody else is like, what the fuck? Why would you tell the truth? What's the reward in it? What's the reward? And it's hard to, it's a hard question to answer. You have to sort of mumble at something about morality, I guess. Sanity, maybe.
I never realized how full of shit I was until this last year or so. Because in order to survive, you kind of have to peddle the shit till it becomes true to you. And that's kind of what happened. I was trying to like keep this thing alive and trying to convince myself that these were the things I needed to talk about. I needed to like save people. I need to talk about this and I cover this and and I'm like, now that I'm so far out of it, I'm like, I didn't even fucking believe that shit when it was all going down. But I thought at the moment I thought it was.
Well, I would go back to the artificial intelligence thing. You were told to do that by the artificial intelligence. Okay, algorithms. But broadly speaking, it's artificial intelligence that trained you to do that. No human trained you to do that. Humans trained the algorithms and the artificial intelligence, but it's the artificial intelligence that told you, communicated to you, Pierre, this is what you must do. Right. How do I know? Because this is a attention economy. You only know if you're winning or losing based on the numbers of likes and follows. So you're being conditioned. Those are the points in the game. If we were playing darts or if we were boxing or playing pool or whatever, that's how you win the game. It's a conditioning tool. It's a conditioning modality.
Right. Say if you play a video game and you get rewarded for shooting the basketball in the hoop as it's supposed to be. But you rather enjoy just chucking it as far as you can, right? But it minuses points every time you do that.
Right.
You know, but then maybe chucking the ball super far is actually building your arms. You know, it's actually like pushing you a bit further in one way or another. But it's like, get in this hoop only, and that's it. You can, who in the right mind would just continuously lose the fucking game? You know, why would you just continuously overshoot every single time? It wouldn't make any sense. And that's kind of what I'm seeing now is like, I see a certain behavior that I do, post boxing clips. It loses a ton of followers. Why would I continue posting it? I'm doing it anyways because fuck y'all. But like, also for the average, most people, why would anybody bother trying to find a new passion or try to express themselves or try to post a certain thing that they like if they know that it makes them lose their points, their followers?
Well, you're speaking rhetorically, but I want to answer the question as though you weren't speaking rhetorically, which is in your case, there is a reason why a person might do it, which is if they had become so heartbroken with the process and with the format that in order to individuate, they had to say, fuck you, this is what I'm doing. Because there isn't really a reason for you to, if you enjoy boxing, you don't have to post about it, but you want them to know because it got nasty, it got personal, and it became like a war. So there is like a fuck you, I'm going to do this. Oh, you're leaving? Bye.
Yeah,
kind of
it does. I imagine Neo shooting the robot spiders, man.
But that you can only get to that point if you've been bitten and bitten and bitten and bitten, and if you are actually you're hurt by it, which is, as we've discussed here before, like we've both had that experience of like, wow, we're back to the abusive relationship thing. This is an abusive relationship. We offer something that we feel is sincere, that is authentic and comes from love and genuine care, and then are punished for it by who? By the artificial intelligence, by a minority of people who have something a bit wrong with them, and you get hurt. But it's important to be able to say, this process hurt me, and now I'm pissed off.
There's
I'm
something that you said in the middle of that. It's really small, but I think it's really important. You just said,
I feel that way about my penis. Carry on.
yes, me too. So,
I'm still a child. I'm so sorry. So sorry. Don't.
so literally, you just said you're getting punished for doing something you love. That's fucked up. That's not supposed to happen.
Yeah, no, it is it is fucked up. It is fucked up, and you're right. It's not supposed to happen. And so it then you're then moving into like the realm of trauma. Look, it's a narcissistically abusive platform. Like in the textbook sense, it's taking more than it's giving you. It lies to you. It gaslights you. It exploits you. It fucks your friends behind your back. It does.
God damn.
It's a betrayal. It's a betrayal rewarding platform, and I mean that. That sounds very theatrical.
No, dude. I think it's true. I mean, the whole drama approach is betrayal currency.
It's betrayal currency. Yes. Let's coin that betrayal currency.
Right. It's betrayal rewarding. You're right.
If I'm 20 and I was a follower of Pierre XO, and then I'm going to go to somebody who ripped off Pierre XO's look and his brand and everything else, I will feel a buzz, a dopamine hit, or something, and I'll be with other people online who are doing the same things. Like, we used to like him, but now fuck him. And if it's rewarding, people will do it. Most humans will do it, especially, but young people particularly will do it. So there is a sort of there's a betrayal economy as well.
Oh, that's scary, man, because that's basically incentivizing, particularly in this case, the youngers, to value betrayal.
That's what cancel culture revolves around, the value of betrayal.
Jesus Christ, man. That's
cancel
bad.
Culture wouldn't exist if there wasn't a value in betraying people. And it's not enough. You can be on the opposite side of a political argument, or whatever the identity group is, and you can take out an enemy. Yeah, that's pretty good. But if you were previously their friend and then you delicious, it's beautiful. Mwah. I
That's like
love
the best. That's like what top tier sirloin, ribeye, medium rare betrayal right there,
That's
man.
some delicious narcissistic supply because I just think it's a part of human nature. I've seen it. I remember seeing it 5 times in the martial arts. People would approach me to work with me. I love your stuff. It's so amazing. Blah blah blah. Then they get close to me. Then they'd want to work with me. And then at some point they'd be betraying me, going, "Oh, the guy's a piece of shit." I called it "kill the king." And then I
Yeah.
would see people come approaching me, and I'm like, "Is this person sincere? Or are they trying to play kill the king?" Kill the king
So
is get close enough to him that you can put a blade in his back
so
and take his
this is
crown.
why you pretty much stepped away from that world.
Oh, I was destroyed by the martial arts world. I was destroyed emotionally,
Oh, that makes a lot of
psychologically. Yeah,
sense,
yeah,
man.
yeah. Full of
Okay.
narcissists, full of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
for reasons we don't we can go into another time, but like,
Oh, I
but
mean, might as well. Like, we can just glaze over it, man. Like,
I love glazing. The probably the one of the reasons why martial arts attract so many narcissists is because running a martial arts school and having a brand
hmm.
fulfills so much of what narcissists are looking for. Uh,
Oh
Even
shit.
pre-internet, you have it's
Yeah,
like a
yeah, yeah.
cult. They function like cults. Do as
That's
you're
right.
told. Why?
That's
Because that's
right.
what we do in Shito-ryu karate. Put on this uniform, say these weird words in a foreign language that
Oh,
we're mispronouncing,
fuck.
do this weird kata that we've forgotten why we're doing. Nobody even remembers what I just think, what the fuck? Boxing can be like that. I haven't seen much evidence that it's worse in traditional martial arts than boxing. Why is boxing like that? Because you can be on TV. You can make a lot of
Mhm,
money. You can be a champion. You can be the center of attention. And of
mhm.
course, like boxing, MMA, Muay Thai, traditional martial arts attracts a different type of narcissist. They would probably be more covert, vulnerable narcissists. But the sportive martial arts, MMA, grandiose narcissists, psychopaths. Not all, I'm not saying that, but the rate at which you will encounter highly narcissistic individuals who are instructors is extraordinarily high in the martial arts world.
Mhm. So I gotta be real careful if I'm really gonna start slipping my way into this thing, huh?
You will be attacked for sure. I mean, I think I said that to you today. Like, if you're going into this world, authentic coaches and actual boxers will notice you because it's interesting to see somebody do it innocently and sort of slip
Yes.
into it. How did you get into this? Through playing a fucking VR boxing game. That's
Right.
that's actually quite an interesting story.
Yeah.
And if it had happened when I was still in the martial arts world and I was invested in that, I would have followed somebody who's doing that. I'd be like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I guess, a lot of things in general have devolved to become less pure. A lot of this clout chasing stuff has just been really amplified with the current digital structure of things. So it's hard to find for example, a niche like boxing or martial arts, which I love as in its purest form. I'm not in it for all these other reasons, but you get like it's the same way where I was in the whole social media drama YouTube video thing. Same thing. It's just on the yin side of the spectrum.
Yes. 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 You can present the argument that this is intrinsically healthier because in order to do it, you have to move your body,
Yes.
and you have to be. You'll never get good at boxing if you're always in the um, computer world, the cyber world. You've actually
Right.
got to do it in real time and in real space. So there is some salvation there. But no, you're right. You're right.
Hmm. Oh shit. There's just no way out, is there, Richie? How have
There's
you been? Has it in progress? What's going on, man?
I feel better, made therapeutic progress. We've done some feeling our feels. Where's the emotion? Where is it in the body? What's behind the emotion? So obviously the therapists that I'm working with, they don't use the terms emotional literacy, but all schools of therapy, well, the good ones will have something that looks or feels a little bit like emotional literacy. It's been good, man. It's really helped. I am
Okay.
going to be recommending more to people that there are shit therapists out there are shit counselors out there, but stick with it. There are now counseling directories. This is a good use of the technology, and if you keep going and keep looking, you can find some people who are really help you. Really, really help you.
Yeah. The combination of moving your body and exerting yourself plus talk therapy with the right person is going to be a hard thing to fail, I think.
Yes. Yes. I actually did what you recommended I do a month ago. I didn't go on the bags. I didn't box or do the Muay Thai stuff on the bags for since the crisis began. And then finally last night I went onto the bags and did what you recommended, which was to just open up and not even worry about form, just smash the fuck out of them. It really helped. Really,
Really?
really, really. Yeah, I
Oh,
slept like a
cool, man.
baby. Slept like a baby
Oh
afterwards.
shit! I'm
Yeah.
teaching the Spartan life coach ex martial artist something. That's a
Yep.
fucking step. Shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Putting me back into it. And I felt the best I've felt since the beginning of this whole thing, doing that and then waking up today knowing that I'd done that. It really, really helped me. Because when it comes to situations where there's been emotional abuse, maybe even narcissistic abuse in this situation, you're kind of trapped back into closed loops that are in your head.
Right,
What
right, right.
is this right? Is this wrong? What do you feel? Well, is this your feeling or another person's feeling? Is this a simulated emotion? Because I'm pretty convinced, maybe somebody can tell me in the comments, that if somebody has strong narcissistic traits, they can make you feel things that you don't actually feel.
Mm-hmm.
You can be gaslit into an emotional investment that you actually really don't have. And you are very, very deep in the matrix at that point. The spike is right the way in your
Yes.
fucking skull at that point.
Yes.
So there's an awful lot of cerebral cycling that can take place. So yeah, going to therapy puts you back in the emotions and in the emotional state. It also puts you in the adult, which I learned about today, the ego states from transactional analysis, which you need to go back into adult. And yeah, knocking the fuck out of something, swinging a kettlebell, lifting weights, puts you back in your body. It's very, very grounding. It's great.
Yeah, because when you are in that closed loop of anxiety or rumination or whatever,
Yeah,
it literally needs a physical break.
yeah,
Like you can't just mentally think out of it because you ruminate more.
yeah,
It needs to reflect an actual breaking of a cycle. You need to
yes,
actually push through, and the closest thing you can find to that's healthy enough and safe enough than just really physically exerting yourself, in this case punching the crap out of a bag without the form, without anything. And I've
yes.
noticed even in my practicing, there are days where I just work on form even with power.
Mm,
And then, as Bruce Lee said, there's another way of putting emotional content into it,
yes,
and that
yeah,
feels very different.
yes. It obviously it helps for anybody who's going to give that a go. It helps if you've put the reps in so that you have form, so that
Yes,
you
of
do have
course.
a technique, um, so that then you can open up and be a bit sloppy with the form and make the emotion the priority. Because I have seen people go to the gym and just try and work it out on the bags and like head down,
Yeah, yeah.
windmilling against the bags. I'm like, I don't. That's not really what we're talking about.
Yeah, and you can really hurt yourself. So,
Oh
like,
yeah,
the thing is, like, I have a friend that I'm kind of training just so they can get to that point of being
yeah,
able to just fucking release.
yeah,
But if you just release without just a little bit of knowledge, like, I mean, it doesn't have to be about punching. It could be
yeah,
like about life. You have to have some grounding foundations. Otherwise, you'll actually fuck up your wrist, fuck
yeah.
up your mental wrist.
Yes, yeah. The release is good, but it requires a structure, I think, for that explosion to take place. Otherwise, it will just get really, really messy. So yeah, it's been good. That I was going to say, if you're stuck in your thoughts and you're stuck in your head, one of the ways that narcissists get in under your skin is through words, is through lying. And thoughts have an intrinsic, we've said this here on this channel before, they have an intrinsic lie element to them, words and thoughts, because they can never really accurately reflect reality. So a
Hmm.
very cerebral person who's stuck inside their heads, that's an extremely fertile breeding ground for gaslighting and for being entrapped by a narcissist. You need to get back to what is real, which is the real reality, not their reality.
Right.
not their reality. Their reality is full of lies and a place that binds. The real
Yes.
world and the truth and the real reality that's out there will set you free.
Yes. I don't trust words anymore. Um, at this current stage, man, like it's such a Buddhist approach to things,
Yeah.
but I do not place that much value or even utilize words as much as I used to. I don't even bother like trying to explore things verbally and try to work things out verbally
Mm.
like rarely at all these days because I've seen how much it doesn't help because that's all I used to do.
Well, Visceral Gravitas released a clip from a live I did about 5 days ago where I went into a riff. I'm going to do more on it, where really it's only what you feel that's real, because what you think is always bullshit. And that accounts for why there's such a gap in what we say we want, what we believe to be true, and then what we do. Because you don't do what you think, you do what you feel. You don't, you go, oh, I should go on a diet and it should be keto and I'll wake up tomorrow and eat a fucking turkey breast with some vegetables. You wake up tomorrow morning, you don't feel like putting turkey breast in your mouth at 7:30 in the morning.
Mhm.
Unless you're a conditioned bodybuilder, you just won't feel like doing that. So you don't do it. You do what you feel. When we're looking, there's another element to that. Like if something is true for us and we want it to be true, we have to integrate it to the point where it is felt, not thought. It must be felt. It must be in your bones. It must be in your skin, because you don't do what you think. You do what you feel.
Okay, so yes, I completely agree. I think what I'm trying to say here, because obviously discourse and dialogue is super important, but what happens is that nobody embodies the dialogue.
Right.
Nobody embodies principles.
Right.
They just say things all the time.
It's like when
And
people go on about socialism and communism online, but they enact none of it.
right, exactly. And that's with everything,
Mm.
and I think words are good tools, but now we completely disconnect the embodying of what's said as opposed to just did we just say things?
Yes. And there's an awful lot of that goes on, and that's like almost like the essence of virtue signaling. If you're trained to say these three magic words and then people come along and go, oh, so brave,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
brave, why the fuck wouldn't you say it? Why wouldn't you say it? There's an age thing with this. I remember it's one of Joe Rogan's bits, I think you know it, where he says like when you're listening to 24 and 25-year-olds or 23-year-olds speak, so why are you listening to what they say? They're just practicing saying words. They don't
It's
believe
funny.
anything. They don't
That's
believe anything.
hilarious.
Don't listen to that. They're
Yeah, yeah.
literally just practicing saying words. So,
Right.
and I've had that visceral experience recently where I'm talking to somebody and I'm like, this would make sense if you were artificial intelligence and not very good artificial intelligence. Like you're a piece of code that's
Yes.
running. You're just a piece of code that just runs and does one thing, and that's it. That's all. Oh no, but
Yeah.
that person's a human, and you should listen to them and their story. And okay, they're human. I respect that. But if somebody's consistently talking utter shite, you have to have some boundary where you go, oh, okay, I think
Yeah.
I've heard enough now.
I mean, there's one thing to keep in mind, like when you hear somebody talk,
Yeah.
you take in consideration, what I've been doing is taking consideration how much of what is being said is just feeling good to say.
Oh Jesus. So jerking off in your face, yeah, no,
Exactly. Well,
that's
right.
such a trigger for me now.
No, right, right. Like if you really start looking at it, I mean, you can be arguing that I'm looking for schemas and projecting and looking for things, but like really, if you look at it, think about how many people embody what they say, first of all, which is barely anybody. No one follows through principally what they say.
Yeah.
Some people more than others. It's a gauge, right? A little spectrum. Everything is, not just black or white. So, but oftentimes people just say things because it's just the sensation of the sound coming out, and the idea just sounds good in that moment. Save them all. Oh yes, like that. Just it's good. but there's no embodying, nothing. It's just that.
Here's a fictional story. I was subjected to a mini philosophical lecture by a girl who was telling me another story where she was lecturing a guy. The guy asked her a question, and she was on a boat. She was on a boat with this guy, and the guy asked her a question. She was like, "Of course, I'm telling you the truth, because let me tell you, sunshine, I believe in honesty and I believe in the truth, and it's so important to tell the truth." And I was like, "Oh, you were on that boat. Didn't you lie to get on the boat where you could deliver the fucking lecture that you're now delivering to fucking me secondhand?" "Yeah, I did." "Okay, so how about a little shut the fuck up time and
Yes.
think about who you're talking to?"
Right.
Yeah, of course it feels good to pontificate and to, well, people should, and life is like this. You know, when anybody does that now, my tolerance is like just so low for it. It's so fucking low. I don't want to hear your dumb, fake, hypocritical philosophy. Thank you. You can stick it up your ass.
We have definitely both aged to an angry, grumpy man on the porch with 2 cigars yelling at Gen Z to get off our lawns.
Fuck me. Fuck. Sound like my grandfather, for real though. Like,
yeah, I mean, I remember just on my live streams, I've been doing the most boring shit. I'm trying to find the most isolated parts just to sit there, and I just rant about my some younger person I talked to. Remember I told you the story about the niece?
yes.
Of manipulating her entire family to move schools. I'm just like, this generation, that's how they get things done. What kind of an unprincipled behavior? Just God. I mean, but I think, Jesus Christ, it has to be justified by now.
Yes. Well, another fictional story, because this didn't happen, that I was subjected to was, I don't like the hotel room I'm in. It's too small. Do you think I can find a psychologist who'll tell the hotel owners that I have claustrophobia so I can move rooms? And I was like, do you have to lie? And B, do you have to go to fucking psychology? Stop raping and pillaging psychology, you fucks. Leave it alone. It's for people with real problems. It's not a convenient dildo for you to fist yourself with every time you're feeling a little bit horny. Leave You're not claustrophobic. You're greedy. You're not claustrophobic. You're spoiled. You're not fucking sick. You're a twat. Stop it. Fuck.
You're insecure because people are smarter than you, so you have to change schools? Where's my revolver?
Yeah, the other kids at school are smarter than me. I think I developed anxiety, or I find or worse, their intelligence is part of a white male dominance hierarchy. It's
oh my God! I mean, that's
actually an argument that I've literally heard a human who I share genetics with say to me.
I know I imagine okay, I got to move schools because they're smarter than me. I know that she's going to end up blaming the white male patriarchy when she gets to university at a certain point. Like, dude, I can just see the whole fucking shit playing on. Fucking tired of shit. Just want me punching the shit out of a bag, man.
But it's a narrative and it's pre-written, and they just go, what am I? I'm in a room that's too. Oh, in a room that's too small. Oh, it's this. Oh no, I'm failing my exams because I'm too fucking lazy to work. Oh, it's this. I have this mental health issue, or it's this political hot topic that the administrators of the university are too fucking cowardly to push back on. And I know that what I will get is surrender. So what is being entrained is, how do I manipulate people into surrendering?
Yes.
Without consent, that which I don't deserve to me, so that I can just fucking consume it.
I just got told another story from someone I knew.
It's fictional, right?
Of course. Only fiction here, only lies, only fake news. This particular story is from I think a boy this time around the same age of 15 to 16. There's a lot of, little details in here that I'm just going to completely blaze over.
Right.
Basically, this 15-year-old boy lied and manipulated 5 adults, from teachers to grandparents to parents to principals, to basically he pretended to be sick for a whole week so he couldn't go to school and just maneuvered this fucking shit like Tai Chi and just had a web of lies in order to pull this off just so they didn't go to school.
Yeah. Yes.
If they put the fucking effort to just finish school, what takes more? Why are you doing all of that when you could just do that?
Because it's a betrayal economy, and
yes,
I want to lie my way there because it then I'm winning the game.
Oh
you know,
my god.
doing it straight is for dorks. Doing it straight and showing up is for dorks. That's it.
I mean, it's just incredible. Like I couldn't think of how the hell do you think about that? Kid's genius in a weird way, but
Yeah.
like where did they get this from? Why is this the second story of the same age group doing the same shit?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. It's but it's permitted. It's permitted. There's no pushback. There's no. I just look at like teachers from, but like what would teachers in the 60s and 70s say if you came to them with this stuff? And
I know, right?
yeah, it's a way where everything is going, and I've said it before. Like none of us are clean from this. Nobody's, because we're all millennials now. We're all kind of millennial. We're all kind of Gen Z now, because that culture is so strong and so ubiquitous. And it's taken over corporations. It's taken over your mass media. If you're sat at home thinking it's not affecting me, I got news for you. It's affecting me. It's affecting everybody. There will be a little voice in everyone's head now that just says, just lie. Just this is uncomfortable. What should we do about it? Let's appeal to authority with a lie and tell them, what's the lie? I'm vulnerable. I'm sick. I'm weak. And it's, you have to do something about this because I have X, Y, Z. It's a trigger for me to see psychology being pillaged in this way. There are genuinely sick people out there who can't get to counselors and therapists because the whole system's backed up with a bunch of people who've learned in this really horrible, sinister way to steal, to con. They're conning the system. Con artists.
Good Lord, man. Good Lord.
I came this close to having a sweaty bald bit, and I managed to hold the sweat back in.
I think
Listen,
these
ladies
bangs
and
are
gentlemen,
hiding mine.
Yeah, that's control. That's control right there, because I could have sweated, but I held it back.
Dude. I mean, like, in the mere act of just engaging, even in 1% of this fucking world, not this world, but like this type of thing is just already poisonous, man. Like the only way to deal with it in my case is just to be like monkish. I mean, not even monkish, but just even taking 5% of that lifestyle, man.
No, you must withdraw. And if we just say, fuck it, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. This is broad scale narcissism. Okay. I'm not trying to send people crazy, but let's say it is broad scale narcissism. There is only one solution that anybody has ever come up with, which is you must withdraw. You must have less contact with that institution, that person, that culture, that entity. You won't win. You can't reason with somebody who's abandoned reason. You can't communicate sincerely with somebody who's abandoned sincere communication. They will run rings around you. They will, and it doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter what you know. If your effort is sincere and theirs is artificial, they will win each and every time.
And I'm still like, I thought when you said 6 months ago that you liked my content from my content, you actually meant it.
What the fuck can I say in the fucking crisis I'm in right now? Talk about believing somebody's bullshit. I mean, am I gonna? Yeah. Like, I could say to you, why would you believe that? And you can just come right back to me and say, well, why would you believe it? So, I mean, and you know, genuinely, these are good questions to ask. Like, why do you need to believe something? Yeah, why? I mean, where do we put our belief? Where do we put our faith?
I mean, it used to be the standard to speak sincerely. I mean, wow.
Which war were you in then, Grandpa? A man had honor. He gave you a word. And his word was his bond. God damn it. Now you kids with your green hair and your goddamn nose rings.
How did I get so old, man? What the fuck? Jesus Christ. I mean, a part of me really misses that. I mean, if I was not self-aware enough, I would probably still go through that. I would continue. Just go, and just it's fine, man.
Yeah. Yeah. What you don't want to be is what you don't want to be is the person who's trapped, like me, in a repetition compulsion where every year you're re-hurt by a new audience, a new group of people.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's like, okay, I'm in a situation now, I'm like, I don't care how many months, or if I have to take a year off, I will keep doing therapy. I will keep doing counseling to the point where I'm like, this will never happen again. Never again. I'm not going through this ever again. There's just no chance. No chance I'm doing it.
Yes. I'm at a stage where I'm still letting go. It's taking a longer time than I expected. The grieving, and still like a bit of me just hurts when I, think about how many like views and like the communication of my old self and all that stuff. And part of me just wants to go back just a little bit, but no, I just have to keep doing what I like and see it all dissolve, man. It's a longer process than I expected.
What you're describing to me sounds literally like what we would in the narcissistic abuse world, you would call it trauma bonding. You've been in a narcissistically abusive relationship, you're trauma bonded to it. You intellectually can see all the abuse and all of the nonsense, but your mind is still that last little ray of hope. Right. This poisonous, toxic hope is like, but do you remember this day where they were so nice and we were all one big happy family? And I mean, in a certain sense, I won't say too much, but I know from knowing you since 2019, time is a bit fucked, that really I know that there was a community and there was even betrayal within that community, right?
Of course.
Like with people who you had met in
real life.
And you just when I watched that happen, all I could think about was my experience on the martial arts forums. I had people who I trained for free. They came to my house. They were in my garage. I would give them tea and biscuits after I trained them for free. When the moment came, they were the first in with the knives, man. I was like, what the fuck? You had thousands of pounds worth of training from me. You ate my fucking biscuits, you cunts.
You ate my biscuits, you cunts.
You ate my damned biscuits, you rapscallions, you absolute blackguards.
Fucking hell, man.
Not just biscuits, but Jaffa cakes as well. I was very upset.
I mean, I don't think like even they understand the impact of betrayal because it's so normalized and it's part of their language. It's like using a fancy word that's sometimes used, like continuation. It just feels kind of good to say, but people hear it enough, so it doesn't have the impact.
Recently, and by recently, I think I mean yesterday, I was pondering on why some people online are absolutely obsessed with trying to prove that I'm a narcissist. They can't let it go.
Right.
They will not. And I'm like, why? Use empathy, put yourself in their shoes. And I think, yes, it's an entrained betrayal, but think of the dark pleasure of being able to be the one. It's almost like a fantasy of being a vampire hunter. And you found the nest this whole time. He deceived, and then you can stand in front, like the Joker at the end of the Joker, on top of the car while the riot is going on, and go, "It was me. I showed you. Remember, it was I took the mask off. I revealed it." So there's, of course, a narcissistic impulse behind doing that, but some people are absolutely obsessed with it. So it's a kind of a twisted addiction to betrayal. It just feels good. So this is what I think you don't understand, and this is what I didn't understand in the martial arts. I did really well. I was teaching psychology with martial arts skills, and people fucking loved it. There were guys there who'd been at that for 20 years, and I came in 2 years and I flew past them. I injured them. I hurt their fucking feelings. So when I look at you and I think of people who might betray you, I'm like, this motherfucker, he's better looking than me. He's doing music. He's talented as fuck. He's got loads of girls after him. You hurt me. What did you do? You were just being you. Well, you still hurt me. Do you know what I mean? You still
Yes.
caused me injury by just going about your fucking business, you fucker.
Yes.
And now you must be punished.
Yes. And it's like this, I don't want to say journalists, because is good use to journalism, but there's also really shitty use of journalism. And journalism in that sense is just based on the premise of betrayal. If you can betray the most in certain sectors of journalism, then you get the Pulitzer Prize, basically.
Do you know that they're taught 2 words, seduce, betray? You know that, right?
I think you told me about that.
Right. Yeah. It's actually something that journalists are taught. Seduce, betray. So playing Kill the King, getting close to, like did last Jordan Peterson hit piece. She called him up. She knew he wasn't feeling very good. They had this whole conversation that he released. She was acting like a therapist. How are you? And how do you feel? And how's things with your kids? And are you okay? And then just fucking did a number on him. She tried to destroy his career and ruin his book release. And I'm like, for what? Like, for what? For a fucking article? For what? But like you said, you know, there is Pulitzer Prize opportunities, or the whatever the British equivalent is, and that really is a betrayal economy. That really is a betrayal. But I looked at that and I was like, that is dark. That is a true. The guys, you might hate him. You might think he's this, that, and the other thing. He just survived near death. Can you give him a fucking minute? Can you give him another couple of months? Nope.
Better yet,
get him.
That's the worst enemy that you can come up with.
Right. You're so against evil in the world. You choose Jordan Peterson.
Red Skull. Like you're the same person posting infographics about the Taliban.
Right.
And this is the fucking guy? Go to the Middle East and journalize your way there, fool.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Never mind the human traffickers, the pedophiles, no.
My God.
Jordan Peterson gives lectures that I find a bit finger waggy and a bit old fashioned and conservative. So fuck that guy. Of all the guys I can target, fuck that guy. You just think, come on. How do you, when you brush your teeth, do you look into your eyes in the mirror? And how do you? How do you do that?
Like Jesus Christ, like literally, you can't find a fucking drug cartel. Oh, that's right. You can't find a drug lord because you're scared, because there actually is danger.
Right.
Fucking God.
Yeah.
You know, and we talked about this shit before. It's like people who unconsciously signify a sense of safety allow these types of betrayal vampires to feed on. The moment they can actually smell possible real danger from them, Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, they won't say anything, and neither will I, against people who could show up at the Pulitzer Prize and shoot them or cut their throat. And we know who would do that. They say nothing about those people. Nothing.
Yeah,
but
right.
Jordan Peterson, he's the bad guy. So yes, by the logic you've just presented, it proves that they are mere bullying cunts. Mere spineless bullying cunts. Because if they had any balls, they'd go for really dangerous people, and they don't.
Of course. I mean, you're taking down people that do what? Say certain words. Like, fucking hell, there are really brutal things happening in the world because you're the one fucking posting it on your Instagram story every 3 seconds. You know?
That's great. That's great. We should have talked about this when the whole thing broke, because that would make a great meme of all the fucking people. It's sick, Jordan. And he was, look, say what you want. That changed him. Like, he was sick for a year. He came back. He is not the man he was before.
Yeah.
And he's just got back, and he's just going to do his book release so he can pay for all the fucking medical treatment.
Oh my God. Fuck.
His whole family was struggling. And come on, guys. Like, really? Fucking really? Okay. All right. Yes, he's wrong about postmodernism, and he doesn't know who Slavoj Žižek is properly, and he doesn't understand Marxism. Fucking hell. All right. He's never murdered anyone.
Dude, that's why I'm like, fuck academics, bruh. Fuck academics in this world of like smarmy ass word juggling bitches that just don't do anything other than just no, someone come and tell us about that. It's like fucking watching Sims like light their fucking house on fire because I don't know, because it gets them off. This is so annoying, man. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, lighting the house on fire because I don't know, they want to feel warm. Because there is that real short term thinking with all this, and I think it's the environment. I think it's the social media. I think it's the tech. I think it's culture. It's turning people into absolute savages, total fucking savages in love, in business, in journalism, and whatever it is. We're like rats scrabbling for the last little pieces of whatever is left on the table, and it's getting nasty now, really nasty.
Yeah, for sure, man. And it's just like if you send out a signal that you're unwilling or just open,
Yeah.
you know. Oh, Jesus, what were you gonna say?
Just that's the most I've laughed since the beginning of this crisis. Is your riff on Jordan Peterson and the Red Skull is the most I have fucking laughed in about 6 weeks because, and I think part of it is it resonates with me, like just the total fucking injustice of it, and the needlessness of it. And you said about being vulnerable. One of the things that we know, whether you love him or hate him, that's a vulnerable guy with mental health issues. He's open about it. He battles with depression. He cries publicly so frequently that it's almost part of his brand. That's the guy. Wow. Like,
men should be able to cry and be vulnerable. Well, I just want men to be responsible. Fuck you, you piece of shit! How dare you? Is this how we want to play? Okay. Bro, where's the consistency? There's none. There's no
consistency because there's no loyalty. There's no faith. There's no, if like what I said something accidentally before that I'm going to think about more, which is promiscuity. We're now such sluts for everything. We're ideologically promiscuous. We're musically promiscuous. We're economically promiscuous. We don't give a fuck about anything but now. So there's no faithfulness. We live in a faithfulness-free culture. We're anti-faithfulness. Good luck trying to attach safely with another human being in this culture. Even if what you said about consistency would be faithfulness to an ideological stance. I'm a feminist and this is how I feel about it. I want to protect women. Okay, you want to protect women from what? From danger. You want to protect women from danger and you decided Jordan Peterson was the number one threat to women in the world right now? Wow.
Hey, the Taliban just rang. I think they have your pizzas. Are you gonna possibly pick it up?
Yeah. Would you like to hear about what Boko Haram was doing yesterday? No, we don't. No, not and nothing that could actually get me stabbed to death during a seminar or during an award ceremony. No. We won't talk about them. It's a psychology lecturer. That's who we go after. Yeah, no, you're right. There is no consistency because there is. I sound like an old man. There's no faithfulness. There's no faith to anything. Okay, good luck with that. Well done, everyone. We've reached peak idiocracy. Let's see how this plays out over the next 10 years.
I mean, I remember I was a smarmy atheist teenager talking about faith and I believe in a God just using faith. That's not. I'm like, wow, faith, being faithful, not a bad thing to have these days.
It actually is quite important for the progress of Western civilization. It's kind of a cornerstone, really, Bucko.
Dude, I mean, it's so absurd. It's fucking hilarious, the lack of value behind words these days. They're literal just noises. Like that sound has just enough value as saying, I believe in honesty and principle. It just feels good, you know?
Yeah, just feels good. I told him I really believe in the power of honesty. You were only on the boat to be able to tell him that because you stole money from him to give him that lecture, you fuck. Do you remember that? Oh yes, I do. I do. Shut the fuck up,
bro. Dude, I didn't realize how trapped I was in this cycle of being indignant and angry. And
right?
because I've been filming these videos of me in VR boxing just for my own enjoyment, right? I love watching this third person shit. It's fucking so much fun.
Mm.
And I'm editing this whole thing just for myself, and I'm commentating on it, and I'm having a blast from playing the game to
Mm.
filming the game to rewatching it multiple times to commentating over it to breaking it down slow motion. The whole process, I'm just like, oh, this is so much fun. I love this shit. It's great. I'm getting physically active, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I think back to the cycle
Mm.
of what I used to do on YouTube. It's
Right.
like, okay, look up like rage inducing controversy and drama. All right, I'm pissed off. Let me research details. Wow, I am more pissed. I am more angry.
Mm.
Okay, now I have to think about what I can get out of this. Let me think of
Yeah.
a theory that pisses me off more about how society sucks. Let me edit this terrible thing about a terrible thing. Just, I don't want to edit anymore. And then I have the wait for the render, and then I upload it. Then I get more shitty comments that I get angry over a thing I hated making, and then the cycle repeats itself.
Well,
I'm
it's
like,
Monday. Let's start again.
I gotta do that 4 more times this week, dude. Like, oh my god. And this is like, I'm at an extreme level here, but I think a lot of us are in this same cycle of rage inducing absorption.
Yeah.
And it's just training us to get used to just hating the process of everything all the time. And that's not going to make anybody sane,
It's digital self harm. It's digital self
man.
harm. We're
Jesus.
addicted to the rush of feeling bad. We're in the same way that people who cut themselves or whatever drive nails through the whatever they do. They're addicted to and conditioned to the release and the rush of feeling pain.
Hmm.
Because and maybe when people self harm, it's usually because there's so much pain inside of them
Yeah,
that
yeah.
if they express it externally, it provides. Maybe this is an indication of how much pain we're all really in. We're all like, I'm
Right.
fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. But maybe people are really suffering, and that's why they do this.
I mean, why would this type of content be so popular? It shouldn't be. Why are we voluntarily putting ourselves in a place where we're watching rage-inducing content for entertainment? What the fuck? Like that's goes against like what we say that we want.
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. One of the things that it definitely does that we might be missing is we might not know who or what the fuck we are anymore. And when you go into a rage, you feel for a few seconds like if I'm raging against that, it's like pushing against the wall. I know I'm not that. I'm like a ghost and I'm numb and everything is just bleh. But if I rage against this, okay, I feel something. I'm here. I'm the person who loathes bleh, whatever the fucking stupid topic is. So therefore I exist. Maybe we're in the pain of non-existence or like some weird I'm spitballing here. It could be a real existential dread, a
Yes.
real sense of like just emptiness, numbness, non-existence, horror, self-horror. It relieves the self-horror. So we're not really talking about politics. We're not really talking about Afghanistan. We're not really talking about Iran. We're really just snorting a line of coke or
Yeah.
injecting. Just oh god, just give me 15 minutes. Oh yeah, good, and then it fades. I need more. But you can't be online all day rage posting. And yet we see people who are like fucking clackheads, walking around screaming at the boss, who are on 8 hours a day, 12 hours a day, and they've been eaten by the beast. They've been eaten by the machine. They're deep in the addiction now. There could be something to that. Could be not. Maybe we're never arguing about what we think we are. We're just trying to
No,
feel.
I really don't believe it. I don't think anyone really cares about the specifics of the external problem that they're arguing about. They
Mm,
say that they do, but it's just
mm,
another outlet that's painted a certain color
yeah.
it's a pressure valve that just swaz great. You know, that's what it is, though. It's like, I really, when I talk to these people, they're like, what in your life do you show that you care about things and you're trying to help? You don't. You just sit around with Dorito fingers and just yell at people. You don't care a fuck about shit. You don't know what's right. You can't order a pizza without anxiety. Like, my lord.
So then it's all just one big crack pipe. It's just a fucking crack pipe. Don't take it seriously. Nobody else is taking it seriously. You can't. Here's something that came forward for me in therapy, like, and this is towards like relationships and attachment. You can't be in a scenario where you're the only person taking it seriously. That is fucking insane. That is insane. You are going to get hurt. You are definitely going to get hurt if you do that.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, there's no value in relationships. There's no value in words. There's no value in growing up. There's no value in doing something you like without getting punished. Of course, we're all fucking numb now. I mean, you got to feel something, right? But all the other stuff that used to make you feel isn't making you feel anymore. So you got to do the next thing that's even harder, like PCP.
PCP, line of Coke, bottle of vodka, drive some nails through the web of your hands. I still don't feel. I can't feel anything.
More.
More.
Or more. It's more like more.
That's it. That's it. It's not more. It's more. More.
It's like you know, you see those the torture museums, the contraptions that just stab even more spikes through your face, but it's like digital.
Every day a new contraption built to cause some new level of pain so we can feel just fucking something. My God.
Oh shit. Strangely enough, man, I'm in a pretty good space. I'm not even lying. I'm actually okay.
The world's fucked, but we're pretty happy. It's okay. It's okay, man. It's okay.
Dude, I mean, it's beyond repair. Do what you can about your own shit. That's all you can do. That's really all you can do.
You know, I just realized that the idea of repair is so close to the idea of rescuing. So your social activism is much like my codependency. It's just in a different, but probably it's like a codependent relationship with issues, with reality, with large groups of people. You should be able to do something. You should be able to fix it. And the more you tried, the more it just got turned back on you and used as a weapon, because nobody was there sincerely, really. Right. Or a tiny minority were, but the majority were not there.
You know what I ended up finding, that actually I hope this doesn't get taken away from me, but like the fucking 5 people that still follow me now, the little amount that's still stuck around. I'll occasionally get comments of people that are like, I just signed up to a martial arts class. I decided to actually take kickboxing or Krav Maga or whatever. And just hearing that was like way more rewarding than, oh my God, he's so pretty, or oh my God, that idea was great, because it shows that they took an initiative to do something way out of their comfort zone. Will they stick to it? I don't know. But just the pure incentive of that was already fulfilling.
You inspired them to do that. That's you having real impact, which is what you want, because you are kind of we're both SJWs, even though we hate them, really. And you are a social activist, really. You're just not a twat. So you want to have impact in the world, and that is real impact. If that person goes and does that for the next 10, 15 years of their life, and they lose weight and they live longer, and the chance of them getting cancer goes down, it's not a little thing. It's a big thing. It's a big deal. Big deal.
Right. I mean, not to boil it down to just like fitness, you know, and aesthetics from fitness, but just to see that taking that class will benefit you. I mean, how could it not? Even at the core value, just you're moving your body. That'll help you, you know? And that is way more rewarding than somebody who just understood a concept. Oh, great come.
Yeah, lovely come. What I want to know is how, in the 2 years since I've known you, I'm going to be the guy who's promoting dance, and you're going to be the guy who's promoting boxing. We have done some fucking weird mind meld body swap, mind swap thing. Yeah.
I guess that was the.
Let's dance bachata. You want to do boxing? You go see Pierre.
I guess that's the whole plan, you know. I mean, that was. I mean, why else would us looking the way that we do end up meeting, right? So.
Yeah, the least likely bachata instructor and the least likely boxing instructor.
For real. I mean, even in our own view, like I wouldn't expect that. You wouldn't expect it on your own either.
No.
Like, what the hell? What happened?
Yeah, it's like when you go to a restaurant and you order, like if you go with a lady and you end up ordering the salad and she orders the steak, the waiter comes over and he's like, well, obviously the salad is, and it's like, no, swap them. It's actually this way around.
Yeah.
That would be.
That happens to me with the black coffee and the sugary, like cappuccino flat white. I usually order the sugary flat white and they order like some black coffee or some fancy schmancy shit. And I'm like, like my little sugary.
Did you just assume the gender of my coffee? You patriarchal fascist.
Oh my God. I mean, I'm just so happy to be away from that. You know, just, man, like so much more peace to not even juggle these concepts in your head.
Well, we stopped talking about it. Like personally, people should know, because obviously we have a personal relationship, a public relationship, but personally, I don't even know the last time either of us raised the fucking issue. Like we both just got burnt the fuck out with it. And really? I think it took me longer to get there than you, because I remember a couple of months where you were like, I am not talking about the R word anymore. And I was like, oh, wonder why not? And then 2 months later, I was like, I am not talking about this shit anymore. Just sucks. It just sucks.
I mean, I literally like dove into it head first and submerged myself in as shortest amount of time as possible. So I got just spat out. Like, I mean, time has passed. Nothing's really changed. Nothing.
No, nothing.
You know?
Nothing.
So, I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, even though at the price of losing what I had, it's sad, whatever the fuck, like, oh my God, I love my life now. I really enjoy the simplification of what I have at the moment. I really enjoy just going to the gym, boxing, VR boxing, watching videos about martial arts, man. I mean, this is my current narrow path that's keeping me sane. And it really is way better than anything I did before. Do I miss all the glitz and glam? A bit of me does, obviously, but it's way worth it, I think.
You're describing like a process of healing, moving from codependency, trying to fix things, trying to fix the world, to just individuating and just going, I'm gonna do me. Which, if everybody did that, we wouldn't need codependent rescuers and codependent fixers, because we would all be fine. All of this shit would stop if we all just individuated.
Perhaps that's why it's so much more fulfilling to see people say that they signed up for martial arts or something.
Yeah.
Because it's an act that allows that person to save themselves. They're not waiting on me to give some like nice little head pat, you know. They are doing this thing for them, even though I might have been a part of it.
Yeah.
You know?
I had a question for you tonight, which was, when you try to remember the exact sequence of events from 2019 to now, do you find yourself getting confused and having like memory holes with that?
Oh yeah. It's like a scene from Being John Malkovich, or like some weird Memento, like the placement of that timeline doesn't feel how it was sequentially.
Right.
You know, it's like someone cut the film reel and like spliced the frames throughout the rest of it.
Yes. I became convinced for about 20 minutes. I didn't have access. I was driving, and I was convinced the George Floyd thing was 2019. Another part of my brain was going, it's 2020 summer, and I was like, it can't have been. We can't have done all that in one fucking year. There's no way. It was 2019, I remember, and it's like, no. I had to stop, look at my phone, and I think generally, like, all of us are struggling a little bit with like trying to put reality back in its place and back in its sequence. It's just not an easy thing to do right
I
now.
mean, it's just what that happens, right? A suppressed trauma isn't even surfaced in memory. It's just like
Yeah.
somewhere in there, can't even relive the damn thing. And that was last year, dude.
Yes. Yes, that's right. That's right. It's a suppressed memory. That's why I can't access it, because I still haven't really. I haven't It's too much. It's too much to process. I can't process it.
Dude, I can't believe that I've only been really into martial arts this past 8 months, not even a
8
full
months.
year
8
yet.
months. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like I've done this my whole life and past life, but this weird timeline merging, like this quantum scoop, just
We were fucking round with the VR headsets and boxing in my flat in Carlin when I got back from America. It was January. It was January in the dark months of January.
It was January. I thought it was last August, bro.
No.
What the fuck, man?
It's January. That's when we both. I think you got it first, and I was like, I'm not doing that. And then I got one, and that was it. I mean, I only got back to Prague on the 3rd of January, and I didn't get it straight away. So it's probably like the 15th, the 20th of January, something like that.
I look at old footage of myself. I was trying to find photos as a thumbnail, and I see this version of Pierre.
Yeah.
I'm like, who the fuck is that? Like the personality, the look, what? When was this?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it was of this timeline, man.
Yeah, no, I've had that feeling a lot. And there is, like, as we've said before, the Terence McKenna thing where it feels like time is accelerating. I got into a long conversation the other day with the guy who works here, who manages the building. And he was like, oh, no, there's a thing called the Schumann resonance. And we are actually living in a faster time. And it doesn't just feel broken, it feels faster. And I've had that same experience where I've looked at pictures of myself, videos of myself, and I'm like, am I really saying that a year ago? I don't think that at all now. I think that's way off. But part of that could be just the stress of this has done two things. One, it's positive, it's caused us to grow up rapidly. And the second thing that's not so positive is it's traumatized us. So we are different people now. We are now. Yes. All of us, everybody watching this, everyone, yes. You are now, if you lived through this, you're different now. You're not that. Yes. And that makes it harder to access memories because you're a different person.
I mean, people that I know in physical reality, people that don't go through accelerated change like we do as much, they are describing the same shit now. People that don't really reflect on these things or were fine taking a certain path at different ages too. Like it's not all, crisis ages. It's like all around, and they're all going through the same shit too.
Yes. Because it's beyond crisis ages. The age we live in, the aeon that we're in, is one of crisis, and it makes people, you're right, who don't have a philosophical bone in their body, kind of sit back and go, I wonder what the fuck is really going on right now, which is, that's a positive. That's a positive to see people. You have to think more in these times that we're living in. Everybody's thinking more. I've seen people go from clapping the NHS on a Thursday night to, within less than a year, posting all kinds of memes and conspiracy theory type stuff all over their Instagram.
Right. Do you remember, I think it was last winter only, when we were in the flip ship at my old tiny ass studio?
Yes.
And we were going through the most gloomy doomer conversations over a gin. Do you remember that? It's on this channel.
It's on this channel? Vaguely, yes.
But we were going like to the bottom.
I do remember,
The topics that we went to were just so done.
Yeah. I would just hold my hands up to it and say it's trauma. Like, I'm going through a crisis now. It's not removed from the backdrop of what everybody's going through. This has been a traumatizing time, and it's not stopped. It's still ongoing. And I didn't go, oh, well, I'm a psychologist. I'll just float above all this. I know this. I know NLP, blah, blah, blah. No, it traumatized me. And that when you see people who are in that kind of like sort of dark conversations, that it's a post-traumatic embitterment syndrome. You just see the world in a super dark way. It was a dark time. It was fucking dark. Let nobody diminish how bad things got and how quickly.
I think that's what made it bad, or perhaps that's what was bad. How quickly. The speed. She's slow down. You take your foot off the gas, for God's sake. You know? Like, so, I mean, dude, it's been 1 year. What?
But I'm 10 years older.
Yeah, that whole thing started last March? No. Sorry. I don't even fucking know anymore, bro. Fuck.
Yeah, no, February, March of 2020. So it's 18 months. It's 18 months now. Yeah, it's yeah, you know, let everybody watching, like, give yourself a fucking pat on the back if you're still here, because a lot of people aren't still here because the pressure of it really broke them. Like, they're not, the suicide rates really upticked. You were not allowed to talk about it in the UK publicly. You were not allowed to talk about the suicide rates, but we will in the post-traumatic analysis. We will have full access to statistics. But I know people who took their own lives during that period because it was a psychosis-inducing situation that seemed extremely bleak, and people who were fragile or on the edge or weren't quite right anyway, it's pushed them over for sure.
But we need to do it for our safety, Richard.
Yeah, we're so safe now. I feel the safest I've ever felt.
This whole thing, Richard, this whole thing still is for our safety.
I'm extremely grateful for how safe I am. I'm so grateful for how safe I feel right now. Wonderful. Thank you, great overlords.
I mean, the absurdity. I mean, Jesus, this whole thing's to keep us safe still. I mean, anybody feel just a little bit safer? A little bit? No? Nobody?
Not many followers on here, I don't think, would say that they feel safer from it. But yeah, it's what an upside down narrative, and to go through these things and to have these costs leveraged in the name of safety. It was galling, and also we were forced to watch because there wasn't really anything you could do. You can attend protests and wave placards, you can write, like, but there wasn't really much to actually be done. And so we're forced into that spectator role, which is why the George Floyd thing had a weird resonance. It was a strange thing to happen in the same year where you're forced into the role of a spectator while something awful happens that you can't stop.
Oh, that's right. It was a complete combo in hammering your helplessness.
Yeah.
Here's a reminder how much control you don't have. Oh, here's another one.
Yeah.
Bitch. Here's another one.
Yes.
Bitch.
Yeah.
Here's how much you can't control. Bitch.
And it wasn't a Rodney King beating. It was the slow.
Oh yeah, Jesus Christ, man. Fuck.
And I think everybody was just, anyway.
Yeah. But I mean, do you think you would be doing the same thing in whatever realm of your life if it wasn't for all this shit that went down?
Well, that's a really good question, and I'm actually more frightened of who I would have been had this not happened, because I see now where the bubbles were, where the illusion was, and I think, that if that had floated along another few years, I could have gotten myself into dark territory. And now I'm like, well, those bubbles were painfully burst, so that's not going to happen now. So no, I'm in that sense. I'm grateful. I can't quite say I'm grateful, but I can see the value.
Yeah, it was like a what do you say, like a fucked up muscle that got pushed out now as opposed to like giving you back problems
Yeah.
way down the line,
Yeah.
I would have I think I would have totally kept doing this same YouTube drama bullshit for years. Like for years, probably do the whole makeup palette Jeffree Star shit.
Well, yeah, you say that, and if I'm asked to run the simulation of what we all collectively would have done in 2019 moving forward, what I would say is I suspect it, if not this, then something else. We were
Yeah.
going to, it was gonna be something. It was
That's right.
going to be something. It just
That's right.
this in this quantum reality that we're in, it was this thing and it looked like this and it has this signature and this smell and this taste. But in other ones, there was going to be something. There had to be. And who knows really what other things have been averted by this. I'm not saying it's a good scenario. It isn't. But we certainly couldn't have just carried on as we were in 2019.
If you had to choose this one or the murderous AI robots, which timeline?
Oh, well, because I'm still a boy of 16, the
Yeah.
murderous robots, because in that film that I run in my head, I'm a fucking hero and I'm like shooting them and I'm winning. Of course, I don't imagine myself eating a sandwich and getting killed first. Like a big spike. I'm just like, nom nom. Has this got pickles on it? Oh, that movie didn't end very well for Richard, did it? And I die with like a pickle out my.
If the murderous AI robots came around, how soon do you think the social justice people will try to save the robots?
Oh god, I actually saw a meme about this. Like robots are people too. Oh no, it was about zombies. If there was a zombie apocalypse, zombies are people. Zombie lives matter. Zombies are people too. Yeah, no, so quickly. So. I mean, yeah, instant. They would push each other out the way to be first, right? It's me. I protect the robots, not you. The murderous robots, they're mine. I'm an ally of the murderous robots.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't really been following, but this whole yin approach to saving and compassion and wee woo is, I, I'm only biased because that's what I'm living, but I don't see as much, or at least the intensive as much now as it was before.
Good, because you're more tuned in than I am. That would mean, or could in a sort of an optimistic way, we were sick and we got a fever, and the fever was there to remove the sickness. If there is an optimistic view, it would be that. I agree. From what I've seen, yes, I've seen the grip being shaken loose of that, and rightly so. I mean, there was no future in that, or the really shit future in that. And we all, I think everybody instinctively knows, like, that's not, come on, that's not a way to, a fucking way to live for human beings, for Christ's sake.
Dude.
Do you all want to go back to kindergarten? Not really, no. Thanks.
I just can't believe that all of this actually happened. This all actually happened.
Yeah. Yeah. And you add isolation to that, and the disruption of habit patterns and the eradication of future. Like, what can you plan 5 years ahead? I fucking can't. I can't even plan coming to see you in Prague this weekend properly, because I'm like, well, where's it going to be? What's the rules? And it changes. And, so it's psychosis inducing. So if people have been feeling crazy or feeling like they're going into crisis or whatever, there's no shame in it. This is a psychosis inducing time.
Should we take questions?
Yes.
Anybody have comments and stuff? Matrix 4, can't wait. That's going to be great. I'm trying to catch up on stuff in general. Have you seen the series called Warrior? It's actually a script that Bruce Lee had wrote and his family finished, and it's really good. It came out in 2019. It's based in San Francisco, Chinatown, and there's like gang warfare and shit. Really cool. You would like it. I think you would actually like this, man. Warrior.
I watched it. I will watch it. I'm halfway through watching the film called Nobody with Bob Odenkirk, where he's just a middle-aged, middle-class American gentleman who secretly has the hands of a deadly ninja. I'm halfway through it. It seems to be quite good fun. But I will watch Warrior. You also recommended the Marvel film. What was it called?
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi. Okay.
As you can see, I'm getting more into Asian things in general, and the new the superhero movie. I mean, like, I watched Venom the other day, and it was good. It was a good, like, entertaining thing. But the Shang-Chi actually has like some cool character development, some backstory. It's like it was like a drama disguised as a superhero movie.
You watched the original Venom film with Tom Hardy?
Yeah.
Did you notice the Chinese wet market in that movie where he gets infected?
Dude, I saw that and I was like, hold up.
Hold up.
What's going on here?
Come on, guys.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. This was before everything happened.
I don't know if I have any other film record. I actually haven't watched the Crisis. I haven't watched TV. I haven't. Just been looking at the clouds, being like, "Oh God, is there a God? Why have you abandoned me?"
Yeah, why watch a movie when life is right?
Right.
How do you create a sense of something solid in a time of groundlessness?
I think that's what we've been talking about, really. Like, you know, the therapy and the training is really key right now, so that you're grounded back in your own.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is exactly what I've been trying to figure out, and I think I've kind of figured it out. I had my whole foundation on something really shaky, which was the social media shit. I mean, fuck, talk about shakiness. Until I got rid of all of it, I had the worst identity crisis of my fucking life. So I had to figure out what I actually like and who I was without the influence of anything external. And only until I found something that spoke to me with no influence of likes, no influence of if this person approves or whatever, that was when I was able to start building the foundation. So that was martial arts for me, because there was no input elsewhere other than my personal fulfillment from the thing. And then that's how I found it.
You can see that you've been training obsessively because of the speed with which you've come on as well. You're moving like somebody who probably would have been doing it for 4 times as long. Do you know what I mean? But then I know that you're training every day. No, it's good. It's good to see. And obviously, the Muay Thai, it's in the DNA, man.
Yeah, it really is, though, man. I was like, how the fuck did I pick up this shit so fast? And it's like, it just makes sense. It's one of those things that just really makes sense. And then maybe that's what it is. I think everybody has something that they maybe haven't discovered yet that just makes perfect sense to them. And that's a signal. If it makes perfect sense to you, it's part of you.
Nice. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Get some martial arts, new Aeon. You might find something you like.
Martial arts what?
I was telling new Aeon the last question is she should try a martial art.
Yes. Let's see what else we got here. Any questions, my friends? Do you think that they're trying to distract us with entertainment even more than ever before? The Met Gala and the VMAs felt so strange to me. I don't think it's purposely trying to distract. I think the context of these events are really weird considering the context of everything. Because it's like, how do you enjoy the Met Gala and the fucking music video awards or whatever while this is all happening? That's kind of why I started like really, let's just say, quitting a lot of music and art stuff, because it just doesn't feel like the right time.
Let's do something artistic and experimental. Yes, we're dying over here, actually. We've nothing to eat. Well, look at this, though. It's weird.
Yeah, that's how I felt. That's another death of mine that I had to really because this is my passion. But now to do that now, didn't feel useful.
Yeah. There's a frivolity that you need for certain types of art, isn't there? You need to have a certain degree of excess, and there's not much frivolity right now.
Right. Why and did it feel like wartime? Only reality disruption or something else too? We have talked about this, Richard.
Because you could say we're under attack. It's an invasion. We have to launch a defense. We had a strategy. There are a lot of war metaphors that a lot of politicians use. Boris Johnson, who is a lover of Winston Churchill, he uses a lot of wartime metaphors, wrongly often. But like a war, when a country's at war, it affects every single element of society. There's no escape. It affects how you buy shoes. It affects how you buy bread. It affects, you want to see your grandmother. It's on TV. You can't escape it. It's in everything, just like in a war.
I personally have found more sanity accepting that it is a psychological, spiritual war. By rejecting that, it made me more crazy. But now that having that narrative kind of painted out, I'm way more able to just cope with life.
Yeah, for sure. I should do more of accepting the woo of this situation. I must stop resisting the woo.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. How do you reconnect with reality after a month-long psychosis, or shall I say, 18-month?
If you've actually been in a psychosis, Carmen, you should seek professional mental health help face to face from a qualified practitioner. If you think you've actually been in a psychosis, then yeah, you need to see somebody.
Mm-hmm. Oh shit. Theoretically, if there were an economic crisis next year, do you think society can manage after a year and a half?
It's not supposed to, baby. It's supposed to fail. That's the point. This is the point. We'll see. They'll go, oh, look, we broke it because of the thing with the, no, we have to change it for everybody. Oh, really? Really? Like that wasn't part of the plan from day one.
Oh, and turns out the younger generations love the new structure. What a coincidence! Ooh.
Here's your government issued crypto. You just need to be on the social credit system on the app to get it.
Are we being farmed as a food source for a species that due to revive on Earth soon? What I will say, we are already for a species that exists as algorithms and AI. We are literally, I'm not even, this is no sci-fi bullshit. We are in the most literal sense being farmed digitally.
Yeah.
It's already happening.
We're in a farm.
It's already happening.
It's like being a slave on a plantation, but we're the cotton.
We're not the slaves. Maybe this is why everyone feels so shitty these days, because it's like in those fucking dairy farms with the fucking suctions on the udders, bro, like we're all getting milked and not in a good way, you know? Like just getting fucking sucked dry, Brady. It don't feel good no more, man. I'm limp.
It's like, oh, I shouldn't say it. It's like the type of meme that Potent the Rockstar would post, you know, when she keeps sucking after you've already gone.
Yes. Yes. That's it. We're all in there. Ow. Can you stop?
Actually, it was really pleasurable up until about 15 seconds ago, and now it feels. Could you just slow a little bit?
And it's been 18 more months.
I was done 17 months ago. Ow! I'm pretty raw, and you're pumping away on my limb sausage.
Ew.
The other twisty thing doesn't feel as good when I'm limp.
Jesus fucking Christ. You're not supposed to tie it.
Oh shit.
Like some toothpaste, bro. You're gonna get the last leg.
Ow! Stop! I'm done. I've been done. Let me sleep.
Oh, jeez. All right. I guess that's a good note to end on.
Yeah. Everybody's happy with that. Man milk. Look at that lovely cum.
Fucking hell. All right. Anything else to add, dude?
Just stay faithful to the Lord, my children.
On that last note, yeah, it's a great segue.
Stay faithful. Remember the parts we said about truth and staying faithful. Forget all the suck stuff.
Just imagine visceral gravitas cutting out this.
We're fucked. If visceral gravitas gets hold of this, we are fucked.
And it'll have you repeating the key phrases. Just zoom into your face, milk it.
Milk it. It's floppy. It hurts.
Floppy, floppy,
Floppy, floppy. Right into my eyes like that.
Fuck.
Fuck me. Oh, fuck.
Oh, shit, dude. That's great. Well, my friend, it's been a pleasure. If you still want to use that word.
Should I let these good people go with the standard blessing?
Yes, of course. After this, I'm immediately uploading this 30-minute video that explains everything on my main channel. So feel free to check that out. And Richard, you could take us away.
Everybody, please now go over to Pierre XO. Give that some love. Give it a little digital nipple tickle. And show it a like on the main Pierre XO channel, please. Squeeze some milk into my eyes, says Fancy Melon, and thank you for that.
See you guys later.
Thank you so much for your time and your attention. We will see you soon.